Yeah, well, this is the thing, Dr. Drew. When we analyze these cases, I can't see it from my perspective, and you can't see it from your perspective. We have to switch off and see it from the other person's perspective. We have to think like that individual thinks, and that's where we're going to figure out what's going on. There's just too much circumstantial evidence here that's pointing in this direction, the culpable direction.
I mean, the premeditated
culpable.
Yeah. Premeditated culpable.
Correct. And I do agree with the other guest that just because somebody's a sex addict, that can't basically be used as a reason to say this is why this individual did it.
Why would you guys think?
Let's be real. Let's be real.
But there's so many people out there.
You slept with 100 people that day. I don't care if you were having sex with somebody, one of your coworkers in the bathroom. I don't care if you and your wife haven't been able to get along together for the last 20 years. I don't care if you hate your job. I don't care if you almost hit somebody on your way to work. None of that matters. What does that have to do with the fact that he murdered his child potentially? We have to get real. We have to stop making excuses.
Sam?
And and he had options. He could have given that child up for adoption. He could have taken that child to a fire department. He could have called DFACS. If he wanted a child-free life, and we cannot let him nor his wife off the hook the way that we are doing.
I'm on your team, Spirit. I'm cheering you on, pun intended. But no, I think the reason why they chose not to drop the child off to the fire station or put it up for adoption was because the fact that they're also in financial straits and they wanted to cash in on this life insurance policy.
They're not getting the money anyway.
Thank God, but
what planet did he live on? What planet do we live on? Do you think they will ever see a dime of that small, meager $27,000? They'll never see it. Who is the rational person in this family?
They're not.
There aren't any.
Yeah, but you guys are jumping all over the place. Where they're irrational, but they suddenly became irrational. What rendered them irrational? What rendered them irrational? If we'd used the word stuck in alcohol as opposed to sex, people would go, oh, I get it. Their brain wasn't working right.
I still wouldn't get it. It still would not be an excuse.
It would not be an excuse.
It's not an excuse. That is not an excuse.
We have got to distinguish between excuses and a way of understanding what a condemnation. This is a condemnation of behavior that should have been handled years before. I've got on the phone an exclusive guest. His name is John Pearson. He is the former classmate of Leanna Harris. John, you knew Leanna in high school. Can you describe what she was like back then?
The Leanna I remember and the Leanna I knew, obviously 16 years ago at this point, was a very shy, very quiet, very keep to herself type of person. There was never any issues with Leanna nor myself. I actually got along with Leanna very well, coming from small town Alabama, growing up in a Christian academy area where the high school was literally a K through 12 of 300 people. There was about 12 to 13 people tops in your class.
Wow.
So, I mean, when we got along very well, more of us were like family together in a lot of ways. A lot of us have stayed in touch throughout the years.
John, I'm going to interrupt you. John, I want to interrupt you and say that a lot of what people are wondering about is the seeming lack of emotion that they're seeing in the courtroom. Do you make anything of that?
Honestly, no. I don't, to be honest with you, sir. The Leanna I knew was not always an emotional person. So to say that, her being able to maybe hide emotion at this point or not show emotion could be the case, or it could be just one of them things where, maybe there's more to it.